and welcome into Poke the Bear, episode 71, the Taylor Hall episode. Taylor Hall. That's going to be a Taylor Hall episode for quite a long time, as he signed a long-term deal. Some Bruins fans are iffy about it right now, but I still say it's worth it. I mean, come
Shocking.
on, Taylor Hall. Crazy that they'd be against it. But I'm Evan Marinofsky. That is Conor Ryan. Conor, what is up?
Evan, I'm doing splendid today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited. Thanksgiving is, well, for people listening today, so happy Thanksgiving. If you're listening after, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. But I have a little bit of time off with my other job for a few days, so I am chilling. I am one step from the weekend, baby. I am so excited for that. So that's never a bad thing. So I'm doing
Are you,
great too.
are you doing the Wednesday jaunt out to see the fellas in Framingham? Are you joining the people who go to see frequent the hometown bars on Thanksgiving Eve?
Yeah, we're going to the local margaritas. That's what we're doing.
Very nice.
Very nice
Framingham
establishment.
staple.
Framingham staple margaritas. People don't know this about Framingham who are not from here. As big as we are, there's not a lot of unique places here. There's a few, but it's a lot of chains. So there's not a lot of good like hometown places. Like when I was coming home from college, there was nothing that was like, oh, I can't wait to have like this pizza shop or this burger joint. It was just like, oh, there's a bunch of fast food and like
There's no way,
Uno's and
and the problem too, it has to be like a low key place. Like I've heard horror stories of what Kowloon is like for the Saugus locals on
oh god, I
Thanksgiving
can't even
Eve.
imagine
So
that.
you gotta
Oh,
find like a hole in the wall place, but it's hard to come. That's why I mean, as we're recording this now, I'm getting ready to watch the Bruins game against Buffalo. So I will not be partaking in that, which I don't want to be. To be honest with you, I would rather uh, commit to a root canal by myself with like a frozen Slim Jim stick than go out in Southie on Thanksgiving Eve because I wouldn't even see anyone anyway. It would just be like bros in Patagonia like vests. Like I don't no, don't have time
I
for
don't
that.
blame you. I
Yes,
don't blame you. No, it's in Southie, no thanks. On a night like tonight, like no thanks. But on a hometown like Framingham, fine.
yes.
Guys are coming home. First year out, might as well do something. I'm upset that I'll be missing the Bruins Sabres game,
No,
so
you won't.
I
Don't.
will.
It's
I,
the Bruins
all right,
Sabers.
fine. I'm lying. I'm not that upset about it. Maybe I'll watch it later, or you know what? I'll read your recap at Boston Sports Journal.
Oh,
That's what
that's
I
so
will do.
sweet of you, Evan.
That's what I will do to keep up with the game. But anyways, so for the game, the Bruins are going in with new D pairings. New D pairings, which these are very subject to change. Grizzly McAvoy, top pairing. Forbort-Carlo, second pairing. And Mike Riley and Jakob Zaboral on the third pairing. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. That Forbort-Carlo pairing should not see a second in the offensive zone. But what are your first takes of these pairings?
Yeah, I think it's kind of slightly concerning coming off of last weekend that probably your best D pair all around through those two games was Mike Riley and Jakob Zaboral. Not usually a good thing when your third D pair is the one that's, has the least amount of issues. Good development in terms of the fact that that third pairing's been kind of a black hole all year. And whether it be Mike Riley getting the message after sitting out a few games or Jakob Zaboral playing well, which he has, especially on the right side, you haven't really had to worry that much about that third D pairing right now. And again, I think for as much as maybe you want Riley to be more involved in the play, I think in that third pair, you just want them to play simple, smart hockey, make the good first pass. If you see a play, you can jump up, but just be steady on that third pair and kind of shore up the back end of that decor. And they're doing that so far. As far as Grizzly McAvoy, how much have we talked about them in the past? Like when in doubt, it's almost like as people talk about on the forward quarter, like the scenario where break glass and hit the button, like that's like breaking up like the Bergeron line. For the defense, it's putting McAvoy back with Grizzly because what do you know? They're probably going to be really, really good together. And I think for right now, as much as people talk about down the line of, McAvoy and Grizzlies, like, oh, they're a D pair not built for the playoffs. Well, you got to get points right now. Like, you're already, like, behind the eight ball in terms of being behind so many other teams. Granted, you haven't played that many games, but you need to start getting on a roll here and piling on points. And having McAvoy and Grizzly gives you the best option of having a very effective, elite top D pairing for now. So it all kind of falls on whether or not Forbort-Carlo can kind of stick together and do their jobs. And as much as we haven't really seen a D pair like that, especially in Cassidy's system in a while, like probably the last was what, like Characalo, like, 3-4 years ago. So far, Forbort and Carlo have looked pretty good. I think the numbers say the Bruins have outscored teams, I think 5-0 when Carlo and Forbort are both out there. So I don't think they're the ones who are generating those goals. I think they're just, playing civil hockey. We're not asking that much. Even though who knows, like friggin' Derek Forbort's gonna like score 30 goals this year. So um no, I think right now, if you look at the way it's set up, um, it's the Grizzly McAvoy one makes plenty of sense. It all kind of rests on whether Forbort and Carlo can kind of hold their own. Because if they do what's asked of them in terms of that profile, then you've got at least two or three legitimate pairs that can play off each other well, which haven't really had so far this year.
I also think going against Buffalo is the perfect time to test it. Like Wednesday night's game was the perfect time to see what you got with a pairing like Forbort-Carlo for a full 60 minutes. And also a good confidence booster for Mike Riley and Jakub Zaboral. Like, I think those are two guys who could use a really good game. Now, maybe they had a good game. Maybe they didn't have a good game. We don't know.
Yes, someone's punching the steering wheel right now.
Damn it. But I do think it is the perfect opportunity for them to do so. I mean, we know Grizzly and McAvoy are great together. Like, I don't think there's no one left. Well, that's actually not true. There's many people left to be convinced on those two together, but I think the majority of people know they're good together. I think the issue is for the playoffs. But like as you said, you
Worry
gotta
about
you
that
gotta
down the
get
road.
points. You gotta get points in regular season first. Crazy how that one works. Another interesting thing about the Bruins, and this will not change. They could beat Buffalo 20-0. They could have lost. They could have beat them 100-0. It wouldn't have mattered. They've yet to have a statement win. Bruins do not really have a statement kind of win yet. That game against Calgary on Sunday was awful. Maybe I said on Bruins beat reminds me of another 4-0, well 4-1 loss that the Bruins had a few years ago.
What was that
Reminded me of
one?
that same kind of thing.
Which
I don't know
one?
if I'm going to say it. Not on Thanksgiving. Can't say it on Thanksgiving.
Okay, yeah,
People
that's fair.
people can use their imaginations. Because people are going to say, "Wow, Evan always brings that up." But they don't have a statement win yet. And it kind of just reinforces to me right now, it's a middle of the road team. Middle of
Yeah,
the road teams don't really get statement wins, and this seems like a middle of the road team.
yeah. I mean, other than the one home win against the Panthers, where you had to come back late in that game and you eventually win it. I think it was in the shootout, right? Like other than that, what?
Panthers,
Yeah,
yes.
other than that, what else really one has there been? I mean, who else have you beat? You beat Dallas Stars, who look like they're middle of the road. I don't know how they haven't fired their coach yet. The Buffalo Sabres, which like started off strong, congrats, but they're still Buffalo. San Jose, which started off strong, but they also look like they're a mess. Red Wings are rebuilding. Senators are rebuilding. Devils without Jack Hughes. Montreal, who are dreadful, and the
Terrible.
Flyers, who I think are I would put them more as a middle of the pack team. Could be good, but middle of the pack. You also didn't have Carter Hart in there, so that's who you beat. Teams you should be beating, which is good.
And they lost to Martin Jones earlier in the season.
They
People
didn't lose
forget.
to Martin Jones, yeah. So, yeah, you're beating the teams you should be beating, but if you're a great team, you need to at least take some points from these guys. Like, it's not even the fact that you're getting a loser point out of these matchups. So you've lost to Panthers, Hurricanes, Oilers, Flames, Maple Leafs, and Flyers early on in the year. Like at least those top five, I think are all. I think they're the top five I mentioned there are in the top eight in terms of points percentages. So you're facing very very good teams, but you also consider yourself a pretty good team as well. Like you should at least be getting some points out of those matchups. Especially there's some of these games where like the Oilers for example where I think that's one that kind of sticks with people because it felt like that was such a game you kind of gave away. You shut down McDavid, but you still let that game slip away in the third period. Like that's not the hallmark of truly elite teams is being able to, be able to keep your foot on the gas, collect points and even up the score against some of these legit teams. And so far they haven't done it. And it kind of goes back to not being able to put together a full 60-minute effort. You can maybe have one really good period, 30 minutes of action against a team like the Sharks, and you'll be fine. You're still going to get your points. But against other teams that you're going to see further down the road as you get to the playoffs, you need to be better. So for the Bruins, I'm not ready to put an entire indictment on like how they're going to end the year being a middle of the road team, but there's still a lot of pieces that have yet to be kind of put in place, or you guys are finding out where they fit in the lineup. But yeah, like we're still 15 plus games in now. You have to start getting some of these matchups and wins against these legit teams. And you look at the schedule ahead, kind of got a little bit of a easier slate. Like the Rangers will be a tough test, but then you've got, I mean, Buffalo tonight, which now that I say that they're going to lose. You got Vancouver coming in. Like you've got a few matchups coming up where you should be able to pile on points, which at this point the Bruins will just take a more regular schedule and getting into the rhythm of things. But when these kind of headlining matchups come up, you need to start seeing more production and at the very least more points in the standings.
So you took the words right out of my mouth. I think the Rangers game could maybe be a statement win. National stage, Black Friday, annual game. Rangers are looking pretty good right now. So getting a win against them on Friday would be huge. I might put that under the statement win category. Jeremy Swayman has not been as spectacular as he was to begin the season. He's fallen on a little bit of a hard streak. Nothing crazy. Again, like I think people have to understand he's a very young goalie. This is bound to happen. Like he's not going to be that he's not going to put up the numbers he did last year for the entirety of a season. But he is falling on a little bit of hard times. If this is the worst of it, though, I can't sit here and say that that's horrible. I mean, right? Like it's not the worst thing in the world. Not great as of late, but you expect him to rebound.
Yeah,
No pun,
yeah,
no pun intended.
yeah, exactly. Well, then, I mean, that's kind of been one of the bigger issues with them so far, right? Has been that rebound control, and when you ask Cassidy about it, of course, Cassidy, who's always, I think, very candid when it comes to assessing the play of his players. Mentioned that obviously those first two goals against Calgary, you can't have those rebound, those grade A chances that kind of fall in the lap of a good team like Calgary with the guys that can bury them, but. Um, he doesn't put much of a fault on, especially that third goal, that shorthanded goal, which was just embarrassing from was
Oh,
Bergeron, McAvoy, Foligno, like just burn the game tape for something like that. Does he have to be better? Of course. But I think from Cassie's perspective, it's one of those things where I think the concern only ratchets up when you've got two or three of those games in a row. Like we saw, I think we even had this discussion after he kind of got lit up by the Flyers in that road game early on. Like, all right, this is his first real test. How does he bounce back from it? And I think he responded with 5 straight games with letting up 2 goals or less. Pretty good response. And whether it be further along this week that he gets back in there, or it very well could be tonight. I believe Linus Olmark was set to play, and now it's a game time decision because I think he tweaked something. So we very well could have Swayman in net, and he'll get right back out there, or it'll be a few days down the road. We don't know on this podcast right now. Again, as someone yells into the void as they're watching this, but uh, again, regardless of just that bad setback against Calgary, for a guy like Swayman, it's all about compartmentalizing a loss like that and moving on and getting another opportunity, which you imagine he'll get very soon, whether that be Wednesday against Buffalo or within the next couple of days. So again, I don't think it's worth hitting the alarm and going to DEFCON 1 until you see this over an extended trend. That's when it gets concerning, I think, with any goalie is the extended trends of poor play.
I always try to find that clip you sometimes tweet, and it is the people sitting at a table with the siren, and they all get
Oh
up
yeah,
at once. I don't
yes,
even know what that's from, but I think that there's so many times I want to use that for a situation, and I just cannot find the video. It's like that with like the Tuukka. They need to bring Tuukka Rask back immediately. Like Tuukka
yes,
Rask's camp's like, all right, Swayman's sucking. Woo, woo, woo,
yep.
woo, woo. Needs to come back. It's like that sort of type of thing. So I don't think it's there yet. Granted, and I talked about this with Marina on Bruins beat. That Rask decision's coming. That is coming within the next few weeks. So that is going to be something we have to kind of hunker down for. Whatever ends up
Coming.
happening, people are going to be pissed no matter what, which makes for great topics for us. But that I don't think the Swayman stuff is all that bad. I think he's going to rebound. I think he'll be fine. Yeah, he's also I think the way Swayman is, not every goalie could, after being told they were not going to start a game, but then being told that day that they were going to start. Not a lot could like just get up for that game. Swayman's a
Yeah,
perfect guy to go in like last second to a game.
yeah.
So, at any rate, we are going to get in the spirit of Thanksgiving. We are going to get into the 3 things we are thankful for. What are 3 things we are each thankful for? They're all Bruins related to a point. Some might not be. We can just kind of go with it. But Connor, why don't you start? What is the first thing you are thankful for this season?
Evan, the first thing I'm thankful for is the fact that the Bruins signed Charlie McAvoy to that contract when they did, because by God, if he's playing like he, is now, and he was going to be a restricted free agent going into the season, then what are you looking at for his final pay rate, right? 10 and a half, 11, 12?
I'd say
Maybe
11.
like
11, 11 and a
11,
half would be
like
the
safe
smart
11.
area.
So for a guy who
Yes.
very well, if he's playing like this, could be right in the contention for the Norris Trophy, probably 60 plus points. I think the Bruins are definitely doing cartwheels for the fact that they have him signed to this current contract right now, especially when you look further down the road. David Pastrnak is also going to get paid
A lot. A
a
lot.
lot of
And
money.
that's an interesting thing. The Pasternak contract stuff when it comes time. I'm interested to see where this team is in the standings. Like, what's the deal gonna be with that? Are they gonna because that'll be around like age 30, correct? That he will be up or in the area of? I don't know off the top of my
For
head, but
for pasta,
he's up because he's up in 2024 or is it
three.
23?
So he'll
Okay,
be
so it's just
like 27, 28. So he's in like
okay.
prime age to at least get one more legit contract.
Yes, that'll be a topic we will save for another day because I think
People are bugging out on Thanksgiving now.
like no. All right, my first thankful thing I'm for is Brad Marchand in general. I think Brad Marchand has been your MVP. I think he's been your MVP for a long time. He is a guy you can't lose. You lose Brad Marchand, you lose a huge part of your lineup, right? Great on the power play, great at 5-on-5, incredible penalty killer. Like you lose Marchand, you're in actual trouble. So he has been as good as can be in these first bunch of games. So for Bruins fans and I think for us reporters, he is number one on the list of things to be thankful for the Bruins. Now to you,
Yes.
what would be your second thing you're thankful for?
Well, from a league-wide perspective, I will say as a quick aside, I'm thankful that we no longer have to talk about Jack Eichel trade rumors. So that is a different
Ooh,
aside. Thank God. I'm
I
sure
like it.
Jack
I
is
like it.
having a great Thanksgiving now that he's in Las Vegas and finally has that surgery. So good for Jack. From a
I don't know.
Bruins
Vegas is
perspective,
pretty annoying with stuff, so they're probably like outside his house doing like the bongos, like
I
like
could
outside.
see you got like Wayne Newton like dancing out front. Like, no, I just
Yeah,
no, my neck hurts. I don't want to look out the window. Please don't make
Penn
me
and
do
Teller
this.
doing
Yeah,
magic tricks outside
exactly.
the window. Like, come on, look, we're gonna make
There's
the
only
turkey
so many
disappear.
like shows teams you can go to before it gets a little arduous. So I'm sure Jack will deal with it
Yes.
down the road. But still, I think Wayne Newton dancing out front of your house is probably still better than being in Buffalo. So I think Jack's having a good Thanksgiving. From a Bruins perspective, though, I will say I'm thankful for the fact that we've had to not talk that much about Tuukka Rask so far. We've mentioned it here or there. It's kind of like
Mhm.
in the Marvel movies when like Thanos would be in like the last 30 seconds of the movie and be like, oh shit, he's coming. It's one of those things where it's like we know that like the discussion, like the discourse is coming, and sooner or later it's going to be on our doorstep. And I know we're like 2 weeks out from it, but up to this point, it so far has been relative bliss in the fact that we haven't had people yelling at us in the YouTube comments or fighting about the horrifying scenario in which Tuukka Rask comes back on a league minimum deal and helps his team out. The horrifying notion of that. So we've been able to avoid that for so far, but I know it's coming. So thank God we've had clear skies so far.
It's like if we were a TV show and this was like a season. This
Yes.
season would end with like a Tuukka Rask like cameo, or there would be something that involved Rask to be like a cliffhanger. Like, oh, is he coming back? What are they gonna say no to him? What's the deal? Like, it's gonna be a big central focus of the next season. So that's kind of like the Rask thing, right? I will go number two, Charlie Coyle. I'm thankful for Charlie Coyle. He's been good. He been spectacular? No, but he's been fine. He's held up. He's not the reason the second line isn't producing at the rate that the Bruins needed to be. He's been good. He scored some goals. He's been consistent. He looks a lot better than he did last year, which is what you wanted. I don't think many people are complaining about Coyle outside of the fact of his contract. Then you can get into like, well, he should maybe be like a third line center making a little bit less. But I don't know. To me, at what you need right now, he's got what you need. So he would be my second thing I'm thankful for. Now to the third. What would be your third thing?
Evan, what I am truly thankful for is that even though we've had this discourse about small things, cranberry sauce, candy corn, which I mean, Nick Foligno's in his own world there. God bless him. I'm thankful the Bruins have not had any truly appalling food takes like the Patriots have been spewing over the last couple of days. Whether it's Mac Jones not liking pie, or the one we have to talk about, Matt Judon hating mac and cheese. Not even I don't think the issue is you can make the argument, does mac and cheese belong on Thanksgiving, which it does, but to just outright hate on mac and cheese, ridiculous, ridiculous. So I'm thankful that the Bruins pick their fights on the culinary field with just something that like is divisive enough that there'll be one or two stragglers, but like no one's repping no one's repping candy corn or anything like that. To do be as bold as to say mac and cheese doesn't belong, wild, absolutely
Also to
wild,
also to say that you don't like pie. Like, there's so many
dude.
pies.
There's
How can you
so
not
and
find one that you
yeah,
like?
it's I mean like what I understand people like what do you have for Thanksgiving then for dessert? Like we have like Toll House cookies. What are you
I
doing
had
there?
I
Some
I had a
Brigham's ice
kid
cream? Shit.
I had a kid on my youth hockey team when I was, like, maybe 10 or 11 who said that the pies they had on Thanksgiving were from McDonald's. So,
That's what that sounds great. You know what? Like that's
I
totally fine
guess
with me.
it works, but I, to me, McDonald's pies on Thanksgiving is hilarious.
Dude, I mean,
But
like, considering, like, how,
credit.
like, most of the stuff is, like, if you wanna be, like, actually correct with a bowl, like, take, be like, turkey sucks, which it does. Like, turkey's trash, in
Oh,
my humble opinion.
I'm so on this train. Turkey is carried by it's like turkey's carried by the things around it. You would not have turkey on its own. Like, you don't have turkey shops or turkey houses or like turkey fast food chains popping. You don't have like Turk filet popping
They're
up.
yeah, no one gets hyped. They're like the '04 Pistons. They're, like, just boosted by so many, like, supporting players that it elevates the whole meal. But no, this
100%.
is no, turkey's trash.
I
Stupid
agree.
bird
No,
too, dumb fat bird. Got, like, a
hate them.
red thing hanging off its face. Fuck
And they
turkeys.
gobble. Like,
Yeah,
what is that
no, yeah,
noise,
they
you know?
attack you when you play golf, or they ruin the Green Line trains in Brookline. No, suck. They suck.
Yeah, no, they
So
do,
yeah,
and they need potatoes or stuffing and stuff like that to go with it. I also didn't think cranberry sauce was controversial. I thought everybody had cranberry sauce. So I was surprised to hear that people didn't like it.
even if
Um,
well, and the Bruins one too is the fact that it doesn't belong on the Thanksgiving table. Even if you don't like cranberry sauce, it's still there. Like you got the little Jello, like the canned one, that just like you might avoid it. That's fine, but like all things considered, it belongs there. Like
it's like Charlie McAvoy shows up to the Thanksgiving table and he sees cranberry sauce and he just like pulls the whole table over. It's like,
yeah,
I can't do this. Sorry,
yeah.
this is too much.
Like
Um,
it's a staple. So what are you gonna do? Like that's why like, mac and cheese maybe is bold because it's like the friggin' Pilgrims didn't have it. Well, the Pilgrims were also boring as hell, so they didn't have good
you tell me the
taste.
Pilgrims didn't have Kraft mac and
Yeah,
cheese? Are you kidding me?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I don't I love mac and cheese. I think mac and cheese is delicious. I've never grown up with mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. I honestly wish I had. Like, I wished it was on the table more. But I don't know. I mean, Matt Judon must have had some like terrible experience happen to him while he was eating mac and cheese, or like he might have got like really bad food poisoning from it or
It
something. He
was one of
clearly just
those.
hate mac and
It
cheese.
was like one of those like Kraft ones. Remember like when like Kraft was really desperate to get like advertising and they would make like green mac and cheese, like it would be like tie
Yes.
dyed, and like they said
Yep.
it was just like food coloring, but it probably had like some other horrible chemicals in it
Sugar.
or something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sugar. That probably is what did him in. So he has to go have like an actual like good thing of mac and cheese because yeah, the hate not just that it doesn't belong on the table, but it's just a terrible dish. Bad take. Like like not even. It's like it like hurts my soul. Like what are you doing? Like there's so many other things you can pick a fight with. Like again, turkey. So many other things. Mac and cheese.
every
Leave it
kid
alone. Leave it
Every
alone.
kid loves mac and cheese. It's the most simple dish. It's like and then he like broke it down, if I remember correctly, to like, oh,
Yeah,
it's just noodles and cheese. And
yeah,
it's like,
degrading. Yeah, a great dish. And there's probably people who are like lactose intolerant who now punching their fucking steering wheel too about this.
yeah,
But listen, I bet they even understand. Like, still good. Can't
very good.
digest it,
No,
but it's still really good.
yeah, it's coming up, but it's very good. But yeah, no, it's a good thing to be thankful for that no Bruins have any
Yes,
wild food takes. Here comes a
clear.
wild. I bet that someone's gonna come out with some like Jakob Zaboral's gonna come out and be like, yeah, I actually hate every food at Thanksgiving. And we'll be like, well, there goes that
I
thing we're
only eat
thankful for.
Dunkaroos. Yeah, and Capri Suns.
I'm 6 years old, food wise. And the final thing I'm thankful for, my third thing, is you, the listeners. I'm very thankful that, and Connor is as well, that you
Yeah,
guys
I thought you were gonna say just thankful for me, but
just
beautiful.
Connor. I'm just thankful for Connor. No, I am thankful for the listeners, and you guys support our work. This is why we get to do these things, because you guys support it and listen and interact with us and our stupid takes and the fun that we like to have. So we appreciate you. That's what I'm thankful for this year. My third thing, and maybe even the most, is you, the listeners, and you read our stuff and you sometimes like our tweets. Maybe you dislike our tweets, but you interact with them, and that's all that matters. So we
Exactly.
appreciate it, and we hope you all have a very, very happy Thanksgiving and good times, good food. Maybe let us know if it's something crazy. Like, do you have something out of the blue on your Thanksgiving table? You know, like if you have like I don't know, what would be something like you have
Dunkaroos and Capri Suns.
Dunkaroos, Capri Suns on your table, something like that. Tell us about it. Anyways, what can the people look forward to over at BSJ?
Evan will have all the breakdowns, recaps from these last couple of games. Obviously, this game against Buffalo, and then that Black Friday game against Rangers, which I agree, I think is a bit of a statement game for this team. So we'll have all that. Working on a couple of features. We dropped one earlier this week about Jeremy Swayman and his elective ballet course that he took at Maine that he viewed as being really a key part of his development and kind of the steps he took forward during that junior season. So we've had stories about that. We've had stories about Jake DeBrusk getting Oreos thrown at him. All kinds of weird stories that I've been able to thankfully find that I've posted on the BSJ website. So all that stuff's over on the site. So subscribe at bostonsportsjournal.com. Want to follow me on Twitter? You can do that at ConorRyan_93.
Great content. Go do that now. For CLNS Media, I'm Evan Marinofsky. That's Conor Ryan. You Poke the Bear listeners. Have a great rest of your week and have an awesome Thanksgiving.